Talk about it with Franjez. Today's special guest has 22 years in physique, biohacking, and performance, and is the owner of Dom and Vinnie's Pizzeria in Yonkers, New York. Today's guest is Daniel Calabrese.
How's it going?
I said it right?
You did.
I was scared. All right, good. All is well, man. How you doing today?
Good, man. A little nervous. I feel like I'm being like FBI interrogation. I never seen so many cameras pointed at me. But it's good, man.
This is going to be good. So let's start from the beginning. Where were you born?
I was born in Portchester.
Okay.
And then I grew up in Eastchester. I grew up with my mom, my grandparents, and my aunt. And my dad wasn't in the picture. So I lived with them until I was about 4. And then my mom met my stepdad, and we moved up to Cortland Manor.
Nice. Okay.
And
let's talk about the childhood a little bit. So, what were you into as a kid? What type of kid were you? Was it TV, sports, video games?
I was big into martial arts. My grandfather was big into martial arts. He was in the war, Korean War, and he always had me like stretching and So I think from a young age, I was always able to do a split. Like I think from him.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think from him, always into martial arts, and then I think my stepdad was a maniac when I was younger, like a maniac. I don't know how else to say it.
In what? Like in sports and like fitness or what?
No, and like, and like dysfunction. like a psychopath. And I think between having a proclivity to martial arts and then growing up with a lot of explosive, violent household, I think it definitely just pushed the interest further and further.
Wow.
So yeah, I think if it wasn't business, or if I didn't have kids young, I just would have. I mean, UFC and stuff wasn't around when I was a kid, so I think I don't know what path I would have chose.
Nice. So in the house, what's the food being cooked? What's the music being played?
My mom was an old school Italian, so my mom always used to make food. I had 2 younger brothers, so always food. My mom was always present. My mom was good. We grew up poor. Cortland Manor at that time was really. People look at like that area now, it's built up. When I was up there, it was truly like rural.
Really?
So it was like, and my high school was weird because my high school, even though it was upstate, like all the kids that moved up from like the Bronx and like group homes would go up there, and Peekskill used to go up there. So my high school, it was small, but we had like kind of like the worst kids from every area filter in. So it was like a weird area.
That's interesting.
That time. Yeah, we had 3 kids get shot and died from my graduating year, and that's like up there.
Wow.
So it was like a weird mix, and then it got better and better, but it was just like a weird melting pot at that time. At Panis. It was weird. Yeah,
that is weird.
But look at places like Newburgh, right? They're upstate, but they're bad. It's kind of like.
They say every city has a hood.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think my high school just pulled in from all those places.
Yeah, that's
Cortland Manor wasn't bad, but Peekskill was at that time, right? And then like kids who were doing bad down here in Brooklyn or the Bronx would like go up there and they would all filter into like Panis. So it was like
so interesting.
Yeah, it was weird.
You follow Mike Tyson at all?
Yeah.
You know his story, right? How he what was it?
With the group homes?
Yeah, it starts with a
he went
C.
to Catskills.
Catskills.
Yeah.
So it's like the same thing.
You're not as far.
There was like some home up there for bad kids from the city.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of spots up there.
Yeah. I didn't know Cortland was like that.
Even my neighborhood was like, it was like summer homes for people in like Brooklyn. So like a lot of Jewish families live there. And we're not Jewish, but a lot of these Jewish families adopted kids from like Brooklyn, like bad areas. So in the summer, in the pool time, you'd see all these like black kids coming up with their friends, and it was like the most, because picture a Jewish community, but then all these black kids from Brooklyn, and then they would like rob all the stores around me. It was really crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like a weird dynamic.
That is wild.
Yeah, and then the worst kids from my whole area lived in that neighborhood, so like they made friends with all the new kids coming up, and they actually did. They robbed a couple of gas stations. One kid got shot. It was like a weird time. Yeah.
That is wild. You like living down here, we don't hear about the news up there.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was like that.
It was weird. It was weird.
What's the music played in the house when you were a kid?
No music.
Really?
Yeah. People ask me this. I have like no knowledge of like old music, like from other than what I like. But it's like there was never. Yeah. No music. I know. Yeah. You don't realize your life is weird until other people ask you questions, and you're like, "Fuck, maybe this is kind of weird."
You guys listen to music in your house?
Yeah,
that is wild.
Yeah, I was really close to my grandparents, and moving up there was weird because it was like isolating. So it was like going from a spot where you have all these people that like are caring for you to like this place in the woods. It was weird. It was a weird transition.
That really is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what was like, let's say like junior high years? Or actually, when did you start listening to your own music? Remember what age?
Maybe like 6th, 7th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
That's
again,
like junior high.
again, everybody in my area, my neighborhood was black or something. So it was like I was listening to Lost Boys really young. We had great music. Seriously, it was like everything that just came out, they would bring it up. So I feel like it was a good time for music.
Nice. So it's mainly hip hop and rap.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I would get beat up if I listened to like alternative back then. There was like none of that. And then in high school, my friends actually had bands. And I was like, what the fuck is a band? And they would like play the drums and shit. And then I got into other music. And then I loved like, Incubus and all these other bands and Hoobastank. And I would, go to concerts. But I didn't really have any, prior to that, have any experience with that.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So, young kid, your martial arts, are you continuing it through junior high and high school?
I would bounce around. I would go to different places to train.
And like what specifically? Like what type of martial art?
Like by me back then, there was like Japanese jiu-jitsu and there was Kempo. And I was always really big on going to places I thought was like practical. Like I kind of wanted to always find things that worked. I didn't really care about something in theory. If you're going to get beat up, it's not really helpful. So I'd find places where I was young and I could actually like spar. They'd actually like fight, because I feel like unless you're doing that, you're not really learning anything. So yeah, I found some cool teachers at that time in Yorktown that were psychotic and like beat the shit out of you, and it was interesting. But yeah, so I'd always kind of bounce around. I never really stuck with one thing so long.
Nice.
Even throughout college and my adulthood, yeah.
All right, good. I was going to ask if you graduated high school, so you did. So
Yeah.
what was college like? What did you go for?
I went to Stony Brook. I thought I wanted to go into maybe being a chiropractor, like alternative medicine. And I ended up personal training in college, like part-time. I was in college, and after I graduated college with the psychology degree, instead of going to like chiropractic grad school, I kind of just stuck with training, and I kind of was a full-time trainer for, since I graduated college.
You weren't passionate about the chiropractic, right? It was just an idea of
I wasn't
a career?
sure. I wasn't sure if I wanted to commit to it. I didn't know enough about it to go to grad school for it. So personal training I liked a lot, and then I really was obsessed with fitness and all aspects of it. And I got a really cool job out of college as like a speed and performance coach at Pizzeria Speed School, which was awesome, and it was great.
Tell us about that. What's speed and performance?
You basically took athletes and we trained them to run faster, jump higher, train them for combines for football. A lot of dads who had kids that wanted to go play college football and need to run a fast 40 time. I think it was one of the best speed programs I've seen, better than Velocity and all these other places. And Martin Rooney was a head coach, and he went on to do huge things in fitness. And I got to work with some awesome people in fitness. And it was just great to actually work with like not just aesthetics, but like the performance side. To have athletes run faster, jump higher, not get hurt, and understand really performance training. A lot of people talk about performance training, but I mean, I took kids from, a 4.5 40 to 4.3. Like I've seen it, like I've done it.
What are these numbers? I don't understand.
Like a 40 time, like if you're in the NFL, like, running like a 4.5 40 is like a good time. So, kids sometimes would have bad technique, and you'd work on different aspects of their start, and you'd get their numbers down. So in front of a coach and they're testing, running under a 4.5 is really impressive. So, you get kids really fast, and it was a cool thing to do and see. And
but what is that 4.5? That's not a mile. I'm assuming like running.
It's a 40-yard dash sprint
Okay.
time. Yeah, so they do a 40-yard dash. They do like a broad jump, see how far you can jump. There's certain tests in football combines that they would kind of test kids, and then we would have to do them all. And it was fun to actually do the test and learn how to do the test. So yeah.
Interesting.
I had all the good stats of a football player minus any skills. I had like sick times, sick 40 times. But I never played football. So
In this time, are you just doing martial arts? Are you also doing speed for yourself? Are you lifting weights?
well, I always did martial arts on and off, and then I would get into, I had to work as a speed coach. We had to kind of go through all the training. So 5 days a week, we had to train with our unit of guys, and we'd have to do the same thing, like the test for the 40, and do all that training. So it was fun. It was fun, and then we would have to test ourselves each week and kind of see. It was cool. It was really a good experience. I worked with great people that were awesome athletes. And then the main headquarters in Fair Lawn, New Jersey, we'd go there for certain seminars and demos, and you would see, guys who were former track stars that were also speed coaches. So it was really cool to watch these like high-performing athletes. So I think the performance aspect of fitness is really, I think, always the most exciting thing to me. And then after a while, I went from that, and I did some CrossFit, and I did strongman, and I went to a strongman gym, and I competed in a strongman event. And that was at the same time where men's physique just kind of came onto the scene, where like competitions you see on TV. And then I had a couple friends who were doing fitness modeling, and then they went into men's physique, and then I went into men's physique, and then I did men's physique for like 25 shows, and then, you know, it just exploded into what it is now, which is, you know, a lot of competitors and then different divisions. So I kind of was there when it kind of started early on. It was cool.
Tell us about that. I have no idea what the stuff is.
So the NPC and the big gym in Long Island, Franjez gym, you know, they would put on certain shows, and there was these events. And then if you did well enough, you could do a certain show and go pro, and people become an IFBB pro, right?
So are these the competitions where you line up on stage and get
it
judged on your
It
physique?
started off in board shorts. The men's physique started off in board shorts.
Okay.
And then went from board shorts and then did another, so it was like bodybuilding, then it was men's physique, there's female categories like bikini and figure, and then they started classic physique, which was like a shorter shorts.
Okay.
But that was in the last couple of years. So a lot of us competed in that with hopes of getting sponsored by supplements and, you know, going pro and stuff like that. And that got into more bodybuilding, more drugs, steroids, you know, all the aesthetic part of training. But it helped a lot because I was coaching clients. So understanding steroids, drugs, diet plans, work with top coaches, it made me really good at helping other people get into shape. And then I would also coach people for shows. I would get them ready for, you know, all that. But it made me a really good weight loss coach, because if you can coach somebody step on stage, it's easy to help somebody lose weight. Because, I mean, you're taking somebody that's an average person going to, you know, 5% body fat on stage. So it's easy to help the average person lose weight when you're used to working with people like that, you know?
Absolutely, yeah, that makes sense.
So it helped my career a lot, like in terms of personal training.
When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
When I was a kid, I don't know. I remember in college talking to a neighbor, and she was like, you know, what do you spend the most time reading? And I was always reading like fitness magazines. And I was like, oh, all I do is research supplements and fitness. She was like, you should go into that. But there wasn't like a field back then for like exercise science in my school. Now it's really popular, but there wasn't like physician's assistants or all that stuff. So I kind of looked at alternative medicine, and I didn't really know. So that's why I kind of went into just, you know, training aspect of it.
Nice. There's a really bad stigma on steroids and stuff. Like, there's a safe way of doing it, right? Or am I wrong?
I mean, yeah, now this is interesting now, because now it's like TRT and peptides, and everybody is moving into balancing out their hormones. What a bodybuilder takes is so different than the average person to try to balance out their hormones. So I think bodybuilding is probably pretty unhealthy, and it is probably pretty dangerous, and you're doing large amounts of stuff, and it's like, you know, that sport, you know, it does have its dangers. But the average person who's older that wants to do TRT therapy, and now they could do it through doctors. Doctors understand it a lot more now, and doctors are checking people's blood work now. So now it's much, you know, safer and better for the average person to kind of balance out their hormones in low doses. But competing is definitely, you know, a different realm.
It is. What are these things? TRT, what's that?
Testosterone replacement therapy. So if you're 40 years old, a doctor would look at your blood work and maybe say, you know, you need to do, your testosterone's low. Some doctors still aren't on board, but a lot more doctors are on board with it. So you might do 150 milligrams of testosterone to kind of get your levels back. But when you're younger and you're bodybuilding, you know, you're getting your blood work done sometimes. Most people aren't. But I mean, you're taking 600 to 800 milligrams of testosterone. You're doing 5 other drugs with it. I mean, you're doing so much stuff. You're suppressing your estrogen, which is really dangerous over long term. You're taking fat burners. You're doing things that raise your blood pressure. All these jokes now about tren, and you see all these memes about tren, but it's like a real thing. Like,
what's tren?
Tren's a steroid.
It's because what it sounds like. I really don't know much about this. The TRT sounds like a natural. Like if your doctor's
is just
included,
testosterone in a small dose.
And that's a natural way of getting your testosterone.
It's not natural because you're still injecting testosterone. So your body's still going to stop producing its own testosterone.
It's like artificial testosterone?
Yeah, because it's still, you're injecting, right, testosterone. So your body's going to stop producing it. But then if you stop taking it, your body will go back to producing it.
Okay.
So it's not, this big thing. But, there's other drugs along with testosterone. So people look at testosterone's a steroid, so is prednisone. Prednisone's a catabolic steroid, right? Which helps,
I used to take prednisone from asthma.
Right, so there's different steroids. Yeah. So there's anabolic and catabolic. And then along steroids, there's testosterone, and there's all these different derivatives. There's equipoise, there's trenbolone, there's deca, there's all these other ones that people stack for different effects. But some steroids, like tren, are known to have psychiatric effects. Like, you truly do, like, it's kind of like, You ever watch like Superman and watch one of the episodes where he has like a different kryptonite, becomes like a dark Superman?
Yeah.
So it's almost like you feel really good at first until you start to, no, it's true.
Yeah, I get
you
it.
feel like amazing. And then there's other parts where you start seeing side effects. You get really like paranoid and like things that shouldn't make you nervous make you nervous. You have high rates of anxiety. Sometimes you can't sleep. So it definitely has psychiatric benefits. And trends like cattle steroid, they would use pellets and put them in a cow's ass and help the cow absorb more minerals to grow. Wow. And people would take the tablets, and the Finaplex tablets, and melt them down and make Tren.
Wow.
So Tren's like a cattle steroid, and it definitely has interesting effects. And you hear people talk about it more now, how they try not to do it because, when you're younger, it's one thing, but when you have a family, and you'd see guys, on Tren that would make a lot of bad mistakes, a lot of infidelity, you have like zero impulse control. And, I definitely could cause some serious problems with getting arrested. Or
I've heard of like roid rage and things like that.
Yeah, I mean,
I see it makes sense. It has you like out of whack.
Certain steroids definitely, again, and there's some people.
It affects everybody differently too.
Some people are calm as shit regardless, but Tren is one of those things that even the calmer people tend to experience some side effects on, whether it's not sleeping is good, whether it's being more edgy, just taking testosterone enough. No, but when you're stacking certain things and dieting and becoming edgy, there's definitely certain components that get affected. And Tren definitely has higher side effects associated with it than other steroids for sure.
So like Tren, what is it doing exactly to the body? It's producing more testosterone. That's what it is.
It's creating more muscle mass. It burns fat. It has, for terms of changing your physique, it works amazing. Right, you get stronger. You're burning fat. You're getting bigger. So it has amazing results on your physique, but it's also hard on your organs. It could be toxic. But then it also causes again all these other psychiatric effects at high doses that it could definitely, it's hard. Dieting, when you're dieting for a show, you're already low energy because you don't have enough food. So I think the dieting aspect tapers off some of the effects of aggression. That's why a lot of bodybuilders are really tired. But if someone's running Tren and you're not dieting, you're going to feel way more of those side effects because you are going to be aggressive. You could be on 1,000,000 milligrams of testosterone. If you have no food in your body, you're just so shot. No sex drive. So it's like dieting really does taper down the effects because you feel like you're dying.
Yeah.
But if you're not dieting and you take the drugs, you're going to feel a lot more of those aggressive, impulsive tendencies too, I think,
Do you have any idea of the science behind it? Like how is it feeding your muscles? It just doesn't click in my head.
A lot of steroids are going to improve like your ability to absorb protein, like nitrogen retention.
Oh, okay.
So you're going to absorb protein more, right? And then you're going to get stronger, and then you have more mechanical tension in your muscles, so you're able to do more damage. So it's working on a couple ways, right? If you're stronger, you're lifting more weight, you're doing more damage to your muscle, your muscle able to repair faster, you can train more, you're able to recover better, so it's going to grow muscle in kind of different pathways. And, but people think that, if someone just took a bunch of drugs, they're going to look a certain way, and it's not true. I mean, most bodybuilders, if you stripped all the drugs away, the people at the top would probably be at the top. Do you know what I mean? Just genetically.
Yeah, because it's more of the mindset too, right?
The mindset to the genetics. So
the dedication.
It's like, most people who are high-level competitive bodybuilders, if you took everything away, they would still look probably pretty awesome. Really.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So it's, people think it's a shortcut. It's really not. Like most people who are bodybuilding are doing 1,000 times more weighing out their food and being regimented than the average person. Most sports, like if you have a bad football practice, you can come home, you could drink, you could eat, there's ways to kind of give yourself leeway and like have downtime, right? You could have even food. Food's a huge satisfying thing, as you know, right? So if me and you have a stressful day, you can go home, you could have a beer, a piece of pizza. When you're bodybuilding in that last couple of weeks, you have none of that. So it's like you have no food enjoyment. Sleeping's hard. You're always tired, you're always irritable, you're always hungry. There's nothing that kind of offsets that. And I think that's why, in terms of like a skill, like gymnastics or certain sports require high skill. In terms of just suffering, I think bodybuilding has to be up there because there's nothing that's like easing it. You know what I mean? There's never like a break from it. It's 24 hours a day for a couple months. So when you're dieting hard for a show, it really is, it takes a mental toll. You're doing cardio. It's like, it's a constant mental grind with no relief. You know what I mean? And then you see people binge, right? And it creates binge eating and all this stuff. And I mean, if you do a show and let's say I did a show and I weighed for that show 205 pounds, by the end of that week, I would easily be 230, 240 because your body's just compensating and, it's able to almost super compensate and hold way more fluid. So it's like you're starving so much, and then it's like then you go on these like eating binges, and it can create a lot of eating disorders too.
Yeah, I can see that.
So it's tricky, especially for women, because women rebound more. Women also shouldn't. Women's brains need more fat, so like I think women have a way harder effect with the dieting aspect sometimes I think than the guys do. And I think their bodies aren't meant to be so low body fat. As general, women have higher body fat than men, but I think it's definitely like bodybuilding and dieting is really a huge mental grind. Like, yeah.
I never thought of that.
I didn't really
makes
think about
sense.
it.
Yeah,
And
you have to be so strict with it. Yeah, it makes sense.
And there's always a time maybe you could have a cheat meal once a week, but then you end up like really looking forward to just that cheat meal. It's like your only like.
It's like your dopamine.
It's the only. It's
you're
only
suppressing your dopamine.
There's nothing other. I used to watch like man versus food videos.
Oh, those are good.
Right?
Oh, but yeah, isn't that bad for you? Like you're starving. And
but I think there's nothing because I think all you're doing is you're looking forward to that one time you could eat. So I think your whole week you're looking forward to one day where you, seriously, that's the only thing is you're looking forward to having like a cheat meal, which it makes you appreciate food better. And I think dieting gives you good mental clarity. That's why fasting is in a lot of religions. So I think dieting has a huge boost of mental clarity, and you do perform at a higher level. You have no inflammation, but then there's a tipping point, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like, and I think there's no middle ground. And so people are like, find a middle ground. Find a middle ground in what? Like if you start a new business, where's your middle ground? You know what I mean? If you have a family and you're up, like, where's the middle ground? So ideally, is it good to have a middle ground? Yeah. Is it realistic to have a middle ground when you're trying to do something really hard? Not really.
Yeah, because you have to go to the extreme to get
in anything, starting a business,
results.
So it's not like your kids are crying at 2 a.m. You're like, oh, I'm gonna sleep. There's no middle ground when you're a new parent. So it's like the middle ground theory sounds good. And now if I'm 40, I could have a middle ground now. I'm not competing, right? I could diet, I could fuck around. But when you're doing something, when you're trying to get good at a sport, when you're competing, there's zero middle ground.
Yeah. Straight go.
Yeah, so I did like 32 shows, so 32 periods of like, let's say 15-week dieting segments. And I don't know if I could do another. I think I am kind of burnt out because, the last couple of years I thought about it. And it's like, I don't know if I would want to go through another prep,
Yeah, it sounds, this is fun.
I know.
You've done so many, 32. Yeah. And like what time period? Like how many years was this? That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
It's like one a year, or how many is it like?
I did a lot from like, let's say like 27 to maybe like 30. And then I took a break.
3 years.
I did a lot because and then I was really trying to go pro. I missed going pro by like one. So if you take for top, I think it was top 3 in like a pretty big show, then you're qualified to go to nationals. And then in nationals, like Team Universe, a lot of people do. If you take first or second, it used to be that you go pro. So one Team Universe, I took third. So I missed going pro by one spot. But then I'm also younger. I had a kid. I was running out of money. It's expensive, right? For all the prep and the drugs, the dieting, the coaching. So it's almost like you just kind of, it's a huge financial drain.
Hell yeah.
So, and there's not a lot that comes out of it. So you win a show, you go pro. Now you have people on social media that make so much money without, like Sam Sulik,
Yeah.
So yeah, he competed
has the most
now.
basic videos.
He competed now, but even before, if he never did one show, he still would have been making more than everybody else in fitness. So now I think people realize with social media that, your social media could push you to those heights. You don't need bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is cool, and I get that you want to do it, but it's like there's so many great IFBB pros that make no money. So it's definitely something that people chase after, but I don't know if it's always the best.
What is like the main goal, like going pro? Like what does that consist of? You get sponsorships?
I think most people would have rely on like at that time like a sponsorship, which isn't. I mean, it's not even. Again, most sponsorships aren't that much money either. So it's like,
what is a sponsorship? Like a supplement company?
A protein company says, "Hey, listen, we're going to give you." And this again, back in the day, you would be lucky.
Yeah, before social media, like what is a sponsorship?
Let's say early on Instagram, because early on Instagram, that maybe they're going to pay you $1,500 a month, and you're going to post you drinking their shake.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So you hopefully get a couple of those. But again, it's like now again, maybe there's a couple people in the field that are really making a lot, but for the most part, most people aren't really making money. Again, unless you have a big following now, right? But if you have a big following, you still have to figure out how to monetize that, whether you're going to have your own product. So it's like having a big following, you can make money, but just being a great fitness athlete, it's not guaranteed you're going to make money.
For real.
Within
these 32 shows, let's say comparing the first one to the 32nd one, what's the big, learning curve?
I think you just learn a lot more about your body, dieting. You have a good coach. You understand the process better. You get better at understanding the drugs, what to take, how to take them. I think you just get kind of better at everything, better at lifting. You just get better and better at what you do. You could prepare for it better. You understand what it's going to feel like. You understand how to cut better, how to suffer better.
So how to suffer better.
No, it is. Because in the
That's
beginning,
deep.
like when you first start dieting, like you might fuck around, you might cheat a couple times. Then if there's more and more on the line and, there's more riding on that show, you want to take it more and more serious, So in the beginning, you kind of don't, like the first show, I didn't know what to expect. I was just doing testosterone. I fucking went in there. I was like, and I did good. I took top five in a big show. And at that time, all those guys who took top five ended up becoming pro. Like they're all really good competitors. But, I didn't really know what to expect. And then when you know what to expect, you kind of just put more and more, I think, into each kind of prep. And, I think you just get better and better at tolerating being hungry.
Yeah.
Like really hungry.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, growing up, was there any religion practice in the house?
Yeah, I was a big Roman Catholic household.
Okay.
We used to all go to church, and I think everybody's views might drift on religion, but it was my mom's big Roman Catholic. I definitely like we talked about before this. I definitely like my quiet. I always liked quiet time and just having time to pray or meditate. So I think everybody has their own spiritual connection. I don't think a religion's necessarily always the best way there, but for some people, if it helps them, that's great. I think everyone has to kind of find, their own path.
So you're not religious today?
I have my own views on spirituality. I don't practice, a form of religion per se, but I think I'm a spiritual person. I think I spend a lot of time reflecting and contemplating things, and I have my own belief system. But
nice. Meditation. Let's talk about that a little bit. When did that start, and how did you get into it? Because people want to do it, people try, and when they get distracted or they just fall asleep, they get discouraged and they just stop.
Yeah, I got pretty big into meditation.
How'd that start?
I used to actually. I'm honestly, since high school, I would read books
Okay.
on like meditation and spirituality
Nice.
and Taoism and Zen, and then in college I was a philosophy minor, so I think I was always into. I think I had a lot of fear growing up. No, seriously. I think I had a lot of fear growing up. I think from having a stepdad who was crazy to being in that household, which was a lot of anxiety, to, martial arts and sparring. And I was always nervous. So I think meditation started in a way to kind of deal and calm with fear. So it kind of started a necessity more than just like a luxury. And then you would try different meditation techniques, different breathing techniques. I tried everything from guided meditation. I used to go to guided meditations. I went to meditation retreats.
Really?
And I would work on different breathing patterns. And I even became like another type of meditation, which was almost like a breathing coach, where you'd put yourself in these kind of intense meditations that almost make you hyperventilate, to almost bring up any fear, anxiety. So I spent a lot of time doing different breath works and different things. And now I have other friends who still are really into that. And then you have the whole ayahuasca thing now, which people do, which I haven't tried yet. I think people are always searching for peace and meaning. I think there's a lot of stuff that does work. I think it's really important that you have the right coping strategies, because if you don't, and you're really nervous or worked up, or you lost your job, and maybe let's say you have two versions of you. One version goes for a walk in the woods, works out, sits in quiet contemplation, reads, calms yourself down. Another one goes to drugs. So anybody's going to want to stop the pain or pressure of stress in life. So how you do that, it's going to determine a lot, right? So teaching a kid the right coping strategies, I think is important. Again, I think naturally I had a lot of anxiety and nervousness, so I had to find ways to navigate that. I was never into doing drugs as a kid. I was never into alcohol, so I kind of had to find, outlets for that.
That's amazing.
I guess.
Because the regular average person is going to go to alcohol and drugs. That's the easiest way to just quiet your mind for the moment.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You chose the right route at a young age. That's really great.
I guess, yeah.
100%.
I mean, I think there's a benefit to dealing with fear and adrenaline. I really do. And I think learning, and I was always obsessed with trying to learn that, because any sport you do, you could, with your friends, you could play a sport in a relaxed way for hours. If it's in a competition, you feel how exhausted you feel from the nerves. You're not physically capable. So I always thought that was interesting that I could do jiu-jitsu with my friends for hours. In my first competition, 3 minutes, I was so tired, so gassed.
I know exactly what you mean.
So,
I was on the wrestling team in school.
Oh yeah, so 100%.
And Practice, no problem. 2 hours practice, loving it.
Right,
I love wrestling.
And think about wrestling: 2-3 minute matches.
Yeah.
Right. Three 2-minute rounds.
The first minute, I'm fucked.
So it's like, but this is how you know something's an intense sport. You could have a basketball player that could play a full game and they're still breathing. You could have an Olympic level wrestler, and again, some of them are so gassed, and you know they have the best conditioning in the world.
Yeah.
So at the best condition in the world, that person's still tired.
Yeah.
No, or look at the UFC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how you know a sport is that intense, because at the top training level, they're still tired. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
You know, and some of them maybe could go. There's some fighters who can go 5 rounds, fine, right? But I mean, for the most part, like, if you're not in full mental control, like, it's crazy.
It really is. You follow Andrew Tate at all?
A little bit.
You saw he had a fight recently?
Yeah, it was horrible.
It was horrible.
Horrible.
The first 2 rounds he was getting by, but then he was done.
Yo, to be a high-level kickboxer, I would have just stood at that. Nobody really
Right?
knew, right? People like, then to get beat up by a YouTuber, done. Like, you're done. You're done. And not even someone like Jake Paul. I think Jake Paul is a good boxer. Like, you know, I mean, he's power. He's knocked out. He's knocked out. Again, I don't know.
He'll never be a great, but he's good.
But the issue with that, too, is, like, I don't know what's scripted and what's not. Do you know what I mean? Because once you saw a couple of those fights, then you're like, all right, was Mike Tyson, was Anthony Joshua, did he try to script this?
Yeah.
So then it kind of makes you wonder. If he didn't have those, I mean, he knocked out Anderson Silva. He knocked out some big-name UFC fighters. But again, a lot of things get questioned, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It's entertaining, but it's not the same. His fights are not the same from, like, back in the real boxing days, you know? It is what it is.
But yeah, I think you have to be in a good mental control of your state, and it's hard, you know?
It is hard, but that's the work that pays off.
And then going into business for yourself, right, is a whole nother realm of, like, stress. So,
Yep.
like, I started a gym from scratch, and I started the gym as I was going through a divorce.
Oh,
so it was
man.
like such high stress levels. And then looking back, I think my life has been always, like, high stress. I don't know.
It's a good time to start a business, though, when you go through divorce, to distract you from the divorce.
Yeah, but then I had a kid, so then I had a custody, right?
Oh,
so then I have to leave my new business to go pick up my kid. So you're not able to put the hours in. You look at Alex Hormozy, he doesn't have kids for a reason. So it's like, to dedicate, you have a new business, most people dedicate day and night. But when you have a divorce and you have your kids on certain days, now you're responsible for them. So I could not see them. I could hire a babysitter, right? Or I could sacrifice my business to spend time with them. And that's what I did, because, it's not really an option to me. So as much as I love business and I've been an entrepreneur ever, like, I would never put certain things over my kids, or spending time with them, to me,
Yeah.
But that's a decision I made, and I suffered, I'm sure, a lot financially because of that, but, it is what it is.
That's the best decision.
To me,
If you ask successful people, I watch a lot of podcasts and interviews of successful people, billionaires, blah, blah, blah. And whenever they're asked what's the most important thing, it's always family. It's always family.
To me, it is.
You'll never go wrong choosing family.
When I was young, I never saw myself getting married, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I knew I wanted to have kids. So I'm divorced. I've been divorced twice. So, like, for me, I'm sure I have my own issues in a relationship, and I'm in a great one now with a good person, but I always don't want to have kids. So when I had a kid, regardless of what happened, and I'm really good friends with my ex, and they're great people, but it's like I always wanted to really be a good dad. And I didn't meet my dad till I was 27. My stepdad was a maniac. So he used to yell and scream and, like, kick doors, and it was craziness. So, like, people say that, like, I'm really calm, and I am calm around my kids because I hate, like, I never want to yell around my kids. I really try not to yell. I don't like when people raise their voice to me. So I try to be calm and, like, communicate in a way that I want people to communicate, because I don't like, certain tones.
Absolutely.
Right? So it was important that I was trying to, be a much better parent.
You said you met your father at 27. Let's talk about that. That sounds like an impactful moment in your life.
Yeah, I mean, what are you?
My ethnicity?
Yeah.
Dominican.
So I'm half Puerto Rican, half Italian and Maltese. My dad was Puerto Rican. So yeah, I didn't know my dad growing up. My mom kind of didn't mention him a lot. And then one day I was coming back from a club in Long Island. I was out in the Hamptons and I was partying. And,
Nice.
And then my dad just called me up one day randomly.
Wow.
Yeah, he, like, found me on Facebook, and I didn't ever want to search him out. You have these kids who are, like, looking for their real parents, and I get that. I think there's a curiosity. Like, I was curious of what my dad looked like, but I wasn't curious to really meet him. And I don't know. And then, yeah, he called me, and
That's wild.
yeah, I flew down to Florida, and we met a couple weeks later.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was that like? Well, you flew down, so you must have been, open to it.
Yeah, I think when I talked to my dad, I realized how similar we were, and it was cool. And it was a lot of unanswered questions, and I got to, understand a lot about kind of myself in psychology from talking to him, and it was interesting. And yeah, we were really close. There was a lot of really cool similarities between us.
Still close?
Well, he passed away during COVID.
Damn, sorry.
No, it's okay. But we got to spend, a huge chunk of time together, and it was cool.
That is good. That was a door that was always closed, and you guys opened it.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
My dad was a career criminal, like for
my
us.
Man.
So my dad did like 7 years, and I'm sure my mom I'm sure my mom didn't want me raised on him, right?
Of course.
And I'm sure at that time I could see why. So I understand that completely. But once I met, he never lied to me. We talked about everything. So it was probably the first honest conversations I could have, and it was good. We were really close.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's nuts. Yeah.
There's like a quote, something like, if an alcoholic father has two sons, one turns out an alcoholic, one doesn't, because of the father. So it's like your stepfather was, raging, and you were the opposite because of that, probably, right? You saw how that wasn't a good way. Your mother was probably annoyed every time that happened.
Yes and no, because I think I did pick up the same temper. I just think I could control it better than him.
Okay.
So no, seriously.
Shit.
So I think when you grow up around that, you have that same.
It's in your subconscious mind. That's how you think people act. Like,
but you have that
watching
same,
it.
You're always like turned on. You know what I mean? And you're really
Yeah.
sensitive to body language and people, and you're always kind of anticipating things. So I think. I don't know. I just think I never wanted to be like that in front of my kids. So
That's what I mean. You consciously didn't want to be that way. You know how it affects your kids.
Yeah, I can't see how anybody can be that way. I really can't. Like I just
inner demons is how you perceive the world, and then this is how you react. Maybe that's how his father reacted to things.
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know, but
it's still hard to picture. Like I don't know. I can't imagine. Like I don't know. I don't know.
Everybody's different. Everybody processes things different. Everybody reacts to things different.
I think all people grow up however they grow up. Fucked up, this, that, things happen to you. But it's like at some point you have to really figure it out. If you have
100%.
kids, you kind of got to figure it out.
100%.
So when people are like, oh, well, and my stepdad grew up with an alcoholic mother who was crazy, and she did the same thing, right? So I could say he's like this because of her. But it also doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Because you had a lot of time to also fix yourself that you didn't.
Yeah.
So I grew up a certain way. You know what I mean? So it's like, I guess I don't really have a lot of forgiveness. I don't know. I really don't.
Definitely no forgiveness. I understand.
I understand
that.
why people turn out.
That's
the
what
way
I mean.
they
You
do.
can understand it, but you definitely don't have to forgive.
Yeah, I mean.
But to understand that he grew up that way, so that's all he just. That's what he knew. You only know what you know.
Yeah.
If you don't know positivity, you're not going to be positive.
Yeah.
If positivity never existed in your life, how you be positive? Like, have you read the Mike Tyson book or
no.
any of his? You know his story at least a little bit. He came up from the worst things, So look. After he got money, he was a psycho.
Yeah.
Big drug addict. He was a psycho.
No, for sure. It's
It's what he knew. He was raised in the streets. He had a wild childhood.
Yeah, and people. I mean, again, people go through crazy stuff. Like
Absolutely.
I read another book by I think his name is Clark Fredericks, and he was abused. I mean, and I talked to him now on Instagram. And people do go through crazy shit. But I think it's really important to try to figure out as soon as you could, because you're going to definitely carry on some negative habits from that,
Absolutely.
And I definitely have too, right? So, I definitely have a bad temper at times, and maybe I'm more on edge than I should be. I don't know.
Yeah. But you being conscious of it, that's beautiful.
It's hard to still fix.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. We're always a work in progress. But you being conscious of it, that you're on the right path.
And I think there's some things that do happen in your child that you really don't forgive. I think it's going to strain your relationship forever with a certain parent. I really do. Like, I don't really talk to him now. I don't really talk to my mom now.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like, I think if a parent could be like, listen, when you were growing up, I fucked up. I'm sorry. I did this, this, and this. I think you could move past that. But I think if a parent doesn't acknowledge it, it's kind of hard to move past it.
Absolutely.
So it's nothing to do with like holding resentment. I can't have an honest conversation because she's going to look at my childhood and be like, oh, it happened like this, and this, and it's not. So I feel like it's hard to move forward if someone can't be honest with you.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of up to them, not me. You know? So it's like I could forgive what happened. I just can't get past it if someone's going to kind of lie about it.
How'd your father feel about the fitness stuff?
My dad was into fitness. I mean, my dad was...
Really?
Yeah, he was a bodybuilder. He was a fighter.
No way.
Yeah, my dad used to fight a lot.
Wait, like on the street or
okay. But he loved fighting, yeah. And then in jail, my dad was a maniac. Like, truly, like in every... Yeah, he had no consequence of anything, which is kind of scary.
It is scary.
Because then you put yourself and your family in a lot of situations. Like, my aunt was living with him and the feds raided, and he would just operate in a way where he just wasn't worried about anything. No, truly. And it's
I get it.
But it's amazing how, like, I don't even know how he died of natural causes. He got, no, seriously, the fact that he lived out his life and like just died of, health issues later on. I mean, I don't know. Like,
That's wild.
Yeah.
You mentioned ayahuasca. And you said you haven't done it yet, so I'm assuming you're interested in it.
I'm curious about it, but I'm a little nervous. I don't know. I could commit to that.
You can.
Yeah.
Have you tried any psychedelics yet?
I microdose mushrooms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just microdosing. Not enough to even feel anything. It's just like in the background.
I felt it. I never went more than like a gram.
Okay. Oh, that's a good amount.
I like that way better than weed. I like it a lot. It makes your brain think differently. So
absolutely, it rewires your brain.
I would have to. Yeah, ayahuasca would be something I think would want to try.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I want to try it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's deep though. They say you remember stuff from your childhood you don't remember right now.
I'd be nervous to take anything that's gonna put me in like such a trance where I couldn't get out. That kind of scares me.
Yeah, you can't get out for a while.
And maybe
ayahuasca might be like 8 hours.
But
I
maybe
think.
it goes fast, right? I don't know. I don't know.
8 hours, I think ayahuasca.
Yeah.
Mushrooms is 6.
Yeah.
Ayahuasca, I believe, is 8, maybe even 8 to 10.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's beautiful work.
You hear some awesome stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Like I was telling, before we press record, you asked me my favorite episode, and the most recent one was Sherry Jimenez, the actress from Days of Our Lives, and she opened up about ayahuasca. She did it the first time. She was scared. Changed her life. Changed how she views all the negative connotations she had in the past.
I think most people get this universal understanding of like connectiveness.
Yeah.
Right? And they understand how they're connected to other people. And I think it gives you a really deep spiritual understanding of things. I do. So I understand that's, and I think that's a true reality in all religions, in all things. So I think it'd be cool to explore that. Maybe at the right place and time,
Yeah, when it's the right time and you're ready, that's when it's perfect. 100%. But you thinking about it, that's dope. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Even honestly, microdosing mushrooms I think is awesome.
Absolutely. It's very healthy for your brain.
I think so too. I think you're able to rewire and rethink thought patterns. So when people are in like these loops, right, of like whatever it is, I think it definitely helps you rethink about certain issues. So I have no negative anything to say about microdosing mushrooms. I think it's awesome. Yeah, I just haven't done it in a while, but I was on like a kick for like a year.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was a good year, I bet.
It was good. It was relaxing. I think for me it was relaxing.
It was really good.
Yeah.
It was really good. Let's get to the first business that you were opening. Was it the first one when you were going to the divorce? Your first business ever?
Yeah, when I opened the gym.
Okay, and where was that?
In West Harrison.
Okay.
It started off as Prana Fitness. I changed the name to Pump Fitness. I used to train clients privately everywhere from like Fairfield, Connecticut to the city, and I had a lot of wealthy clients. And one of them really believed in me, and he's still one of my. I can't say I have a lot of positive mentors in my life, but I could say that this person by far was probably like the best influential figure in my life.
What do you mean positive? You've had, what's a negative mentor?
I don't think there's a lot of helpful people. So it's like not like a negative mentor, just there's not a lot of people I would take advice from.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
so like someone I would truly listen to and be like, wow, you're living the life I want. I would listen to what you have to say. Like there's not a lot of people like that. Maybe a couple. Where I felt like someone was like a good person, made a lot of like just all the boxes kind of checked off.
I see what you're saying.
Like I don't think there's too many people that. Can you think about a lot of people that you would say?
Not at all.
Right.
But when you said mentor, I thought like you chose them and they were negative.
No, not like that.
It was just people that maybe gave you advice, but was never good advice.
Yeah.
There's not many good people out there.
And again, there's people that can make a lot of money, but maybe they're living in a way that you don't agree with, right?
Absolutely.
Or maybe their relationship with their wife is shitty, or they're a shitty dad. So. To be someone that I looked at that I was like, wow, he's a great dad. Just all the areas where I'm like, and he became one of my best friends, and we talk to this day, and we've known each other for almost 20 years.
Nice.
He invested with me in my first gym. Truly, I mean, he was been like a lifeline. So like, truly, one of the best people that influenced my life was this person.
That's beautiful. You mentioned Alex Hormozy. Did you know of him before you started this gym?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, so that was like kind of the inspiration.
He had Gym Launch. He started off with Gym Launch, and Gym Launch was a marketing system for gyms to get more business. And I tried it, and it sucked.
Oh, man.
So, like, I was like, this... And I've tried other different things, but I hated Gym Launch. It was, like, for me...
That's when you launch someone else's gym,
No,
right?
you can even...
Like
he has all these marketing materials where it helps you try to get new clients to your gym on social media.
Okay.
But, I thought it wasn't great.
Okay.
But I do think... I like him, and I respect him, and I respect what he's built. And, he has a lot of awesome... things about business, so I think he's a brilliant person. And he's made tons of money. Yeah.
Let's get back to the gym. So, did you buy an existing gym or did you build one from scratch?
I was renting space in the gym, And I went to the landlord and I was like, listen, this is a perfect location. Do you have any other spaces like this? I want to kind of do something. And he was like, the owner of this gym is getting evicted. He hasn't paid rent in like 2 years.
2 years.
And I was like, okay. But I was kind of friends with the owner of the gym.
How do you get by for 2 years?
And you know what it is? Because the gym was in the basement of a corporate building. And
Okay.
the landlord wanted a gym to be there for the tenants. So I think he let a lot of it go. And then, but I was friends with the owner. So I was like, listen, I was like, yo, this is what's happening. I was like, you know, I'm not, you know, and he was like, all right, he's like, buy all my shit for this amount of money. It was like a lot of money. I was like, no. I was like, you know, we couldn't agree on a price.
This is the landlord speaking.
This is me now talking to the person who's running the gym.
Okay.
Because I was like, yo, you're getting evicted. I was like,
Okay.
I'm going to take over. I was like, how do you want to do this? And we couldn't come to terms. And he had like 100 and something members. So going into it, I'm like, all right, I have X amount of members I'm starting with. You know, I'm gonna build my business plan knowing that I have some money coming in. And then he got tight and he made a deal and he pushed all the members in that gym to another gym. So I wouldn't have any members. And
this guy sounds like a piece of shit. They didn't pay rent for 2 years,
Yeah.
and he can't even sell it in good terms.
so I took over the gym. I'm sure he was bitter about that. But again, it's not like I came in, I was like, you know, swept the deal from under him. You know what I mean? He wasn't paying. Like, if you're not
2
paying,
years is
it's going to be
insane.
me or somebody else. So I took over the gym.
When you took it over, he took all his equipment?
He took, he took everything out. I put my
Wow.
equipment in. He took all the members out. He pushed them to another gym across the street. So,
And it was literally across the street.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm actually friends with the other guy that the members went to too.
Oh, man.
But it was tough. Like, you know, people talk about business plans and it's like, bro, if you never had a business and you give me a business plan, what the fuck? It's like a fucking estimate.
Yeah.
Like maybe, like maybe this shit's gonna work. Like business plans are
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like I
Yeah.
mean, you're fucking putting together numbers from no experience. You're trying to. I had to set a budget, so I had to figure out what I would take monthly, right, from the money being given. I was like, all right, I'm gonna live off of this amount. But then I went through a divorce, and now. Let's say a fifth of that money is now going to go to child support, right?
man.
So then my living expenses changed, right? So I have to. So it's like all these numbers change. So it's like the first couple of years of the gym was so hard. It was really tough.
I can't even imagine.
And having like payroll and employees and wanting to pay my employees. I must have moved so many times. I had a car repossessed. I got kicked out of homes.
You see why that guy wasn't paying rent for 2 years?
Yeah, right. But I think
He was trying to survive.
I think his wife was rich. I think his wife had money, so I think he was fine. I lived out of my gym for 6 months. Yeah, I literally slept there for 6 months, and I would open up at 5 a.m. before anybody came, so they wouldn't know I lived there.
That's a hustle.
Yeah.
I respect it, man. That's how you got to do it. You got to sacrifice.
It was tough. It was tough. But even looking at those times, like it still wasn't. Again, like if you have your family, if you have your kids, if you're okay, like. I don't know. It's not so bad. Do you know what I mean?
It's
Like
the mindset.
Like if you're around people and if I'm always around my kids and like I'm always seeing them, you know, I'm not that stressed. You know, it sucks worrying about money and, you know, when you have your own business, you're going to go through deep, deep fears about money. So it's like you have to be able to ride out these waves of like, of making sure that you're happy and content while nothing else around you is going good for a prolonged period of time until something like breaks through. And you have to be able to sustain that environment without like kind of breaking, right? Or like crashing or giving up or I mean whatever it is, right? Because there's like no hope in sight for sometimes a long period of time.
100%.
And there's debt and there's bills coming in, you have to figure it out. So it's like I don't know. I don't really know what makes an entrepreneur, right? But I think you have to be able to withstand a large amount of stress for a long amount of time and be okay like that.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
You know the books you were reading, the meditation, the breath work, the philosophy, all of that definitely strengthened your mindset to be able to go through that.
Yeah, I think you have to find always ways to be happy, even if you're, you know, so broke at the time, but I figure like, you know what, I'm spending tonight with my kid. There's still things that like are always good, you know, and you have to be able to look at like what's going good and like what's enjoyable. And then when everything else is crashing down and you have, you know, all these things happening financially, you know, money, you have to almost just kind of make a plan. And I'm big on writing. I think writing's probably helped me more than anything else.
What do you write? Like a journal or
more like just a fucking like an action list to get all like the thoughts out of my head. So if I'm like, all right, I need to make another $5,000 in 2 months, how am I going to do it? I'll sit there and I'll try to plan out, all right, what can I do? Can I get money from working out with this doctor? Can I make this deal? Can I get a deal from a supplement company? I would just try to like figure out what I had to do to get what I needed to get and then try to just go on that list. And that's all I have, right? Because, you know, that's all I could do. And I would be able to find success doing that and be like, all right, I could, get out of this hole and I can get out of this hole. And then once you realize you could kind of dig yourself out of these situations, you kind of get more confidence. Like, all right, all these things are going bad, but I could figure this out. I've done it before. And I think you get a lot of self-belief at like just figuring stuff out by yourself. That's why I don't take a lot of advice. I don't talk to a lot of people because very few people are going to be able to solve a problem for you.
If they're not doing better than you shouldn't take advice from them.
Maybe it's in a different field and they don't know how to help you in your field.
Exactly.
So it's like I'd always have to find ways to always make more money and make more money and make more money. And then I got to a good deal where my gym was on the bottom floor of like a 3-floor or 4-floor building. And at a certain point, each floor got almost bought out by a medical company. So when I went there, the building was pretty empty. And now fast forward like 6 years, now there's huge medical companies that own floors. So now the building's at full capacity. And I think they wanted to put an MRI center in my space because MRIs are heavy and they wanted a ground floor. So before this great benefit of me selling my lease deal, which I did, first I got locked into a good lease deal. I negotiated an awesome lease deal for 12 years. But then my landlord tried to evict me twice.
What?
By coming up with these different terms and be like, you violated this. So I had to go to court twice. And again, if it wasn't for my investor, I didn't have another 70 grand out of my pocket to go to court. So a lot of these big companies could win like that because if they're taking you to court and you can't defend your position, you can't win. So thank God for my investor, and he backed me financially. Went to court both times. Couldn't evict me because I had a good lease deal. He said, he was like, oh, you're violating this, and he would just make up shit.
That's weird because the landlord, the tenant before wasn't paying you for 2 years.
But now,
why coming at me?
Because now the space is valuable. And now it's really valuable. So let's just say for numbers, let's just say my rent was $1,000 a month. Now the landlord can now get $18,000 a month. Because now he has all these offers from medical companies. So now it's different.
Big money.
And it's cheaper for him if he could go to court and kick me out, right? So that's what he tried to do. So it's almost like I was in court for almost 2 years. And then I finally met with there was someone who managed my buildings, and he was a dick. And it was funny because some of my clients were friends with him. So I'm going to court with this guy, and like I see that my client who's friends with him, I'm like, I want to be like, your friend's a fucking scumbag. Like I want to go to his house and beat him with a bat, this piece of shit. No, literally, right?
I bet.
So I fucking hated this guy. He's fucking taking, again, for him it's a business transaction. For me, it's my life. You know what I mean?
100%.
So fuck this guy. And I'm going to court. I'm training his fucking friends in my gym. I'm like wanting to fucking strangle this person. And but then there's an owner that owns all the buildings. There's multiple buildings. And I met with him one day, and I'm like, listen, he was actually a cool guy. And I'm like, I'm not going to get evicted. I'm like, I was like, buy me out. I was like, I have 6 more years left here. I was like, let's figure out a number and buy me out. And within 6 months, we worked out a term, and he bought me out.
Nice.
So some people are like, oh, why'd you sell your gym? I had a really good offer, and I negotiated a good deal after 2 years, and I got bought out.
Perfect.
So
all the equipment stayed?
I sold it.
Oh, you sold the equipment. Okay, good.
Because they're going to turn it into like a medical thing now.
Yeah, I figured, yeah.
So, and then what's crazy too, they put a gym in the bottom floor of a building. They put the gym there, not me. They put a gym there. There's medical buildings on top. They never soundproofed anything. And there was a gym there. So I'll get all these noise complaints. But I'm like, you built the gym. Like, you could have soundproofed it. Do you know what I mean? Like, 100%. You had a gym here. So I would get hit with all these noise complaints. But I was like, this is your doing. You know what I mean? So there's all these issues. And, but again, like, the guy was a reasonable guy at the end. Again, if he's paying me a quarter of what he's going to make in 6 years, it works good for both of us. Mm-hmm. So we worked out a good term. I left, and then, so all in all, what made me the most money was, one, being a good personal trainer. We had really great clients from all over Westchester, high-end clients from Lifetime. For me, competing in shows, understanding diet, hormones, I was able to attract these high-end clients that paid a lot of money, that sustained me, right? So maybe years 1 through 4 were a struggle. Years 4 through 6, I'm making money, supporting my family, doing good. And then I had this deal to exit and make a chunk of money, right? So that went great, did that. And then I was like, what am I I didn't want to start another business from scratch. I was like,
not a gym, right?
Fuck this. I don't want to start anything from scratch. So I was like, how do I buy something existing making money? And then I looked at like business broker sites, and I was like, what are businesses for sale? And then I did some research, and I was like, all right, you could buy a business with the SBA loan. I was like, so now I could buy a business and put 10% down. And I spent like a year trying to figure this out, and looked at a bunch of different businesses. And then until I found the restaurant. And I grew up in restaurants, Italian restaurants, working from 13 till 25.
Okay.
I love social jobs. I like being around people, the gym, restaurants. So ended up finding Dom and Vinnie's in Yonkers with a great reputation. The staff was there. They were there for 40 years. The owners are awesome. And I was like, I want to buy something making money that I could kind of just, amplify. And and then I ended up buying Dom and Vinnie's. So, yeah.
That's awesome. You know why the previous owners were selling?
They were just old and want to retire. And that's the other thing, too, is if someone's selling a business, you want to understand why they're selling. I saw businesses for sale for a fraction of the money, but it was like, if someone's running into an issue, you have to look at why are they selling.
100%.
If someone's selling because they're both two guys that have other careers in finance and attorneys and, are making money and they just want to retire, that makes sense, right? So, why someone's selling is a huge reason. So there's all these factors I looked into. And I looked at a lot of businesses, restaurants. I looked at nail salons. I looked at blacktop companies. I was looking at all these different businesses. And I settled on this. And people are like, oh, the food business is the hardest business. And it is because the hours are long and you're open and operating on a lot of hours. So I get that aspect. But it's also like the team and the staff you have too, right? And then it's also...
It's all about the staff.
Yeah, I mean, people don't understand the hardest part about a business is like getting clients. So it's like if you have a business with clients, that's like the hardest part. And also having good staff there. So I had staff there that's been there. Some staff has been there 27 years. Our cook has been there. My head manager's been there 20 years. Waiters have been there 9 years. So it's like we have such great people in place. And trust me, I still, I took over. There was still a couple positions missing, and I was there every day, like 15 hours a day for like the first 3 or 4 months, like every day, just learning it and working it. And I mean, beyond exhausted. But then once I had the right staff to put in place, I hired a couple other key people. It was so much smoother,
Nice.
But the first couple months was like holy shit.
Yeah,
like,
you got to learn it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they stay on for a week to help you. So imagine like you hop in a new business, you have a week expedited learning, and then you're there by yourself, fucking working the computer, taking calls. It's like, it's a lot. And then you have 20 million vendors that you're paying. It's a lot. But also my partner, Kate, is great. I mean, she's been amazing and she helps me so much there. And so we have a lot of great help there. And again, my staff is awesome. Like they're great, great guys. They're so good. So I'm lucky that my staff is so good there. And, I really love pizza, I love food, and I want to make good stuff. So as soon as I walked in there, I was like, what ingredients are we using? How can we make this better? And we all sit there and we brainstorm. We'll try everything. Like, do we like this? Do we like this? How do we want to do this? As long as you go into something and you want to make it better and you have a desire to make it better, you're going to make it better. I would never sit there and be like, oh, my pizza is okay, I'm going to leave it. Like, I would always try to improve upon things.
Might as well, yeah, absolutely.
We've had a great response. And then we had people like you that came by and Nikki and Fran that, gave us so much great media attention. And it's been awesome. Like we went viral for that chicken garlic knot sandwich.
I still think about that sandwich.
Yeah, but we had maybe across multiple platforms, it had to be close to 500,000 views.
Wow. It's a great sandwich.
That was crazy. The first weekend when that video aired, I never saw this in real time. Like I never saw a video air and then saw like an incoming traffic. Nothing in fitness, nothing ever, right?
Yeah.
So when one of the videos went live in that weekend, we sold like 200 sandwiches. I was like, holy shit.
Oh my God.
Like, this is crazy. Like
That's wild.
This has a huge impact. Like content creation and food, I think, and again, from being into fitness, which people were like, you could have a sick video of a personal training gym. Nobody's going to run a personal train. But with food, it's like...
Everybody eats.
Everybody
eats every day.
And people travel far. People come up from... I have a group of guys. We came up from Brooklyn.
Wow.
And to me, it's so exciting because you have all these people that can go anywhere and they're coming in to eat. So I would walk into pizzeria sometimes. The owner would be like cranking. I get it. You're burnt out. You're tired. And people in businesses get burnt out and they become like almost grumpy. Mm-hmm. You ever walk in to eat somewhere and they're almost like you're bothering them?
100%.
Right? And it's a weird feeling. So like
every Chinese restaurant's like that.
They're like,
what do you want?
Yeah, right? You're like, I want to pay you, motherfucker. It's weird, right? But it's true.
Yeah.
So like everybody that comes in, I'm like excited. Like I always want someone to come in for the first time and have like a good experience. And I want to meet them. I want to shake their hand. I thank them for coming. I want to give them something to have. I just want it to be a good experience because I don't know. I could see it from both sides.
Absolutely.
And I think it's awesome when people travel, an hour to try your food. It's a cool thing.
That's wild from Brooklyn because New York City has one of the best pizzas in the world.
Yeah,
so it's like drive through the city to Westchester.
People come from all over.
That's amazing. It is quality pizza there.
It is, but again, and I'm also an active owner. I'm there all the time. People see me like, oh, we saw you on the video. So it's like, I always wanna. And the other thing too is you want to go to a place to eat where you have good food and you want to feel like you have a good connection with. Most people go to eat where they have a connection with the staff. You know, you'll have the same waiter. You'll talk to. You want to have like, it feels like a family. You want to feel like respected. Someone's taking care of you. And people, you need those two things. I don't even think you need the service over the food. I think people go somewhere the food's okay, where they feel welcome in the environment.
Yeah, they say it's how you make people feel is what they remember.
I think so. I think it's more than, you know, I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I definitely think people, especially Yonkers, a very close community. It's very old school. And, you know, we have the same people that come in 4 or 5 times a week. Like
Amazing.
sometimes people are there every day, you know? So it's like, and we have always new people calling up that want to try our food. And I'm more the people person and Kate's more like the food. So if Kate sees like something going out that's like dry, she like flips out. Like she's
quality control.
Yeah.
That's good.
But she's like mean about it. She's like, "Why the fuck does it look like this?" So it's like I'm trying to be nice to them. I'm like, "Yo," I'm like, "You can't offend either," you know. So it's like I play like the middle ground. So it's
Good
like,
cop, bad cop. It's good.
I like manage the staff. I manage the people. Kate can deal with the food, and it works out well. So
how is it with a partner?
It's with the right partner. It's great. Yeah, with the right partner, everything's better.
The gym, it was just you and just an investor, right? No partner.
I was with the girl at the time. That was
Okay.
yeah. Again, the right partner, everything's great. But it's different because you know when I was doing the gym, she couldn't help me with that business the same. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, and we also had another young child, a daughter at the time, so it was tough. With the gym, it was a lot of stress. I think when you go through so much stress and you can't process it well, is how relationships also end. So I think that also cost me in some relationships because, you know, as much as I say about I had no idea how to deal with, you know, my gym. Let's say my bills are $10,000 a month and I'm bringing in 5. Like I would just sit in like these trances when I would get home and not be able to process this. And I would need a lot of time. And it was hard when you're with somebody because you're not connected. So dealing with that stress was really hard to be in a relationship because I couldn't always deal with it correctly. And I didn't know how I was always going to get out of it. I needed a lot of time in my head. So, you know, it was definitely hard. I think stress is what kills relationships. And when you look at most couples, most people get married, have a kid, and buy a house within the first 2 years. And what you think about it, and what happens is like each one of those segments is massive, massive amounts of stress. And when you're older, it's different because you don't have the same financial stress. But when you're younger, it's like those huge pivotal moments stack up the stress. And then I think a lot of like relationships end up breaking. Even if they stay together, they're still broken.
Yeah.
And then maybe you'll see the end result of that years later when they get divorced. But I think it's having too much stress and not being able to handle it well, I think is definitely the cause of a lot of breakups.
Yeah, I never saw it that way. I always hear the number one cause of divorce is usually financial reasons. But that's at the end of the day, that's stress. It's the stress of the money problem.
It's yeah, I think it's not just not communicating, right? I think I've been through a lot of relationships, right? So it's communicating in a way where it's effective. Because I could say I'm a great communicator and I could communicate with you all day. And maybe you go home and like, I don't know what the fuck he said, right? So it's not just communicating, right?
Yeah.
So it's like effective communicating. And it's at some point, if we live together, even as friends, at some point we're going to fight. And it's like, how do those fights go? So if you have a girl, you're going to fight regardless. Are you going to fight and be like, yo, listen, you're a fucking whore piece of shit and I hope you die? Are you going to, you know what I mean? Because some fights you can't get back from. So how people fight is, I think, the biggest predictor of how you're going to work in a relationship.
100%.
If you could fight in a way where you guys could actually accomplish something and get back to like a good base pretty quick.
That's healthy.
But if, you know, I think so how most people end up just not fighting and then harboring feelings and resentment. So it's like, I think how you fight is going to dictate how you're going to end up being in a relationship long term.
I agree, 100%. Have you used AI at all? How do you feel about AI?
I love it.
Yeah? What do you use it for? And when did you start using it? I feel like it would have been good in your...
No, because it just,
your earlier
ChatGPT only
years.
kind of came out like, ChatGPT has been a game changer. And even some of these editing softwares for videos.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. Like what it would take hours, me and my friend, to edit a video, it's like you could do in a couple minutes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I think for creating content and just ChatGPT for everything, like I don't know why people need a trainer. Truly, you could have ChatGPT break down your supplements, protocols, dieting, peptide. I mean, everything.
Yeah.
It's your full interactive dieting coach.
It really is.
So if anything, I mean, I know people want to be motivated physically, but it's like the knowledge it's so there. You could have a custom program on your phone. I could do it in 10 minutes. You know, it's crazy.
It is like that person, the accountability. It's a little different.
Right. So that's why I think, you know, being a trainer is never going to go out. But it's like, I don't know. As far as like a diet coach, I don't really know. Like I used to do a lot of dieting. I'd work with a lot of great diet coaches. I'm not saying contest coaches because that's a little differently, but for the average person, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean, you can go on ChatGPT and be like, I need, I'm this size, I'm this weight, I'm this active. How many calories do I need? How much? I mean, you could break down your dieting plan really easy.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. So I think AI is awesome.
Yeah, it really is. What's your routine looking like now with exercising and all
right now?
that?
I try to. It's nice because I open the restaurant. I get there at like 10. We open at 11. I try to get to the gym at like 8 in Mount Vernon. So I'll go work out and then I'll go to the restaurant. So it's like a great schedule. It's good.
Is it that?
I go to both. I go to Barbell or Extreme Fitness.
That's what I was gonna ask. The barbell.
I love both of those gyms. Yeah, I think they're both great gyms. Extreme Fitness is for sale, which is kind of cool.
Really?
I kind of think about that. Like, and I know some people that might buy it. Because I always loved that gym. That was like my first. That gym made me want to open a gym. Like I love that gym. And I love the atmosphere. So I hope that gym just ends up in good hands. And I think that's an awesome gym. And so is Mount Vernon Barbell. The owner Troy is an awesome guy. And I love going to these places. It's cool.
Nice.
Because if I did another gym in Westchester, it'd be like those type of gyms.
Nice. And how important is sleep?
It's important. I think everybody needs a different amount. I don't think there's always like a set amount. I think it's more important like that you're on like a schedule. I think it's hard when your sleep changes. So I think being on a sleep schedule is pretty important. I think a lot of hormones get produced for like your brain and your immune system between certain hours. So I think when you start going to bed later, you're not really getting the same benefits, even if you're sleeping 8 hours. They say between 10 and 2 a.m. is where a lot of these beneficial things happen. So like if you'll see if you go to sleep at 10 o'clock and sleep 8 hours or 12 o'clock and sleep 8 hours, you'll feel much better at 10 o'clock, even if it's the same time.
Because I guess the sun, right?
I think you're based on circadian rhythm. Yeah, and your body naturally releases certain things at certain times.
You sleep good? Like
I sleep good. Yeah. I think like taking zinc and magnesium are really helpful. I take something called glycine. Glycine's an amino acid that cools your body's temperature. So I found certain sleep things that I don't know work good for me, but I always slept good.
I gotta look into glycine. I didn't know that.
Good. I think being in a cold environment is really important.
Dark room, cool environment, silent.
I hate lights. I hate noise. I
even cover the clocks in my house.
I can't. If someone has a TV on, I want like when I'm tired, I want it to be pitch black.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people that watch TV in my bed. Like I'll watch TV downstairs when I'm tired. I go to sleep. Like that's just me. Like I like to have a very, quiet, cool.
That's the best way.
But I sleep good.
Nice.
And I have a good routine now at the gym, and I'm not really sure if my goals are the same, but it's been fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anything else you have coming up?
We're gonna build a bar.
No way. At the restaurant or separate?
I just met with the building commissioner. We're gonna submit plans. We're gonna build a bar. I really want to get that going. I want to have a bar. I want to have a late night menu. I want to have some live music and kind of set that scene up.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. In the same space, or you trying to expand it or anything?
The space next to us, that party room, isn't really used, so I'm gonna build it in the space next door.
That's amazing.
So yeah. So,
well, what's the process of getting a liquor license?
We have the liquor license. You have to apply.
Way.
Yeah, we've had a full liquor license. So I mean, they just want to see the background check. They want to see where any money's coming from, and I mean, it's not, and it has to be zoned appropriately. Like if we're zoned for liquor, and I got a full liquor, which isn't a big deal. But if you're starting a new place and they happen to be like a school next by, it's different.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure the zoning kind of fits it. But Yonkers has been great to work with. I like Yonkers a lot, actually.
Yeah, they're pretty straightforward at the building department.
Yeah, and everybody comes in to eat with us, so it's like no, they do.
That helps.
Yeah, so it's like it's a great community. They've been good. They've been good to us.
Nice.
So I want to get this bar going.
Nice. Let's talk a little bit about social media with the business. How important is it, and how do you use it?
I think with food, I think social media is everything.
Yeah.
I think it's so big. I think it makes sense to do a lot of content and make sure that you can become your own personality. But I think in the beginning, hooking up with the right content creators is so important. And not all content creators are good, because I think some are scam artists. I've had good experiences with you and a couple guys, and Roman and Nikki, and I've had some other guys that I think have fake numbers. You know what I mean? So
a lot of that.
But and you could tell right away, because you'll do a good video and you could instantly see like your followers on Instagram going up. You could see it all moving.
Absolutely.
And then so I think if I was opening a restaurant from scratch, I would definitely set a budget and definitely have a new content creator coming in like once a month, because it's huge. And then getting really good at doing your own social media, investing into editing and understanding how to shoot your own videos. I think that stuff it's so important.
It really is.
Especially for pizza and stuff. Like it's Yeah, it's huge. I think driving new business, and it's not about, ads anymore. It's really about social media content and getting really good at figuring out shooting, editing. That whole process is everything with food.
Absolutely.
And I'm actually having Nikki and come back. We're gonna do another sandwich. This snow fucked this up.
Yeah.
But every time we debut like a new sandwich or food, we'll have them come in and shoot it. It'll be fun.
What are the new things you've added besides was it vodka chicken parm on a garlic naan?
Yeah, we've done some kind of fun specialty pizzas, and we have our spicy sausage and stuff, and we have our vaccaroni pizza. But I'm gonna do like a sandwich for the kids.
What's vaccaroni?
We do grandma with vodka sauce and pepperoni, which sells a lot. But now I'm going to do like a hero. We're going to do chicken cutlet, mozzarella sticks, French fries. We have a homemade sauce. And we're going to do like a really fun, just fat kid late night.
The fries
hero.
in the sandwich?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
And all those foods, all those heavy type of foods are the ones that like kids want to try.
Absolutely.
We have our salads. We have our great menu and pork chops. So like the fun stuff for social media and the kids are like the garlic naan sandwiches, the fancy pizzas, the fun sandwiches. So that's what, I think it's fun. I think there has to be more of that. I also want to put this out because there's always, everybody's like all these pizza reviews, right? And there's all these places that are ranked top 3 in the nation, all these places. I think there should be Westchester, Yonkers. We should figure out how to make a pizza competition. And every restaurant could have whatever, the 3 best pies. And then we have a panel of judges. And all the pies and places are labeled with numbers. So no affiliation. So if you're trying out the pizza, you don't know who it's attached to. Because there's truly no bias. Because who knows who's, and I don't care. I see all these pizza owners like, oh, I'm, won this. Listen, if you have enough money, you could pay for anything. You could get on TV, you could win an award, Grammy. It doesn't matter what topic. If you have enough money, you can pay to get to the top. You truly could.
Absolutely.
So to make it legit and real and take away any bias on who people knows, do a Westchester competition, have a panel of judges. The judge has numbers 1 through 10, and they write down what pizza they like. And then at the end, you could see what place won. I mean, really simple, straightforward. Like no lying, no bullshit. Do a real like a blind competition, and I'll do it tomorrow. Like I'm down. No,
I like that. That's a good idea.
So it's like all these places. Like you could, again, social media is fun and people talk a lot of shit, but it's like, do a blind competition. Have a bunch of people for the first time eating your food that don't know you have any affiliation. See how it really ranks. And I'll be down to do that. I think whoever wants to put this together, I know Hector the Connector is always there, and he knows people. Whoever in Yonkers, grab everybody in Yonkers, everybody in Westchester. We'll do it tomorrow.
I like that.
And
I would like to do that in Yonkers.
Yeah, I think we should. Again, it can be fun. And I talk to other pizza owners too. Like, I talked to on Instagram, I talked to Silver Lake Pizza, I talked to Gino's, I talked to John from Pizza for Nice. Like, I try to talk to these people, and they're all cool people. I've had friends that had pizzerias that don't talk to me anymore.
Oh,
it's
that's
weird.
wild.
Yeah, it is wild.
Gino's, he's a good guy.
Yeah, everybody in Yonkers is cool. I don't know, it's weird. People get weird, man. And I try to coordinate with my other friends. I'm like, yo, you want to do some content? They're like, no. Like, it's weird, bro. Like,
maybe they don't get it.
But I think it'd be cool if I saw different restaurants doing videos together, I'd want to try both.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I think that's a cool way to like have interest in both businesses.
Absolutely.
So I don't know why everybody wouldn't be fighting to do that.
Maybe they're intimidated by your shit.
But I'm still new. Like I'm not. There's people that have been in this industry so much longer that know so much more, and that 100%. So it's like, I don't know. I don't think people understand. There's so many people that want to try out food. So if I did a pizza at Gino's, I made my pizza for him, he made his pizza for me. I think it would just advertise both of us. I think it'd be fun. I haven't had time to do that with him. I think he would do it. I think a lot of guys would do it, but it's like the people I thought would do it didn't want to do it, which is weird.
That's very weird. They might be intimidated. You're new at it, but that spot's been there for a long time, and it's always had a good reputation.
I don't know, but I think we should get together this competition in Yonkers.
I like it.
And just do honestly like.
I want to be a part of that.
We'll have the pizza made fresh. We can pick whatever location. We can get it prepped. We can pick one location where there's ovens. And we could have that pizzeria get ready their pizza first on the oven, let the judges try it. The next guy can come in, throw in their oven, let the guy try it, and let everybody taste it blindly and rank it like for real. Like none of these bullshit like top rankings or who knows who and who's friends with who. Like let's do a real competition. We could do your best plain slice, Sicilian slice, specialty slice, whatever you guys want to submit, and pick a panel of random people that have the average customer. It could be.
So you see it at a pizzeria, and then
it has to be somewhere there's ovens, right? Because you want to make it fresh. So
it got to be a pizza oven too.
I think it could be at a pizzeria, and it doesn't have to be like if I did at my spot, we don't have to be affiliated with the competition, right? It doesn't have to be like, it could be a panel of people, and the spot doesn't have to be mentioned. It could be a closed door event where there's judges inside. We have, everybody brings what they need to make. You can use whoever's ovens to heat it up. Let everybody try it fresh right then and there, and then rank it. And have someone from the paper there and put out the rankings. Like, these are the pizzerias. This is how the average client, and pick a pool of different clients. Pick a young kid, pick someone older, pick someone, just a pool, like the same thing you would pick in like a jury panel. Pick a pool of different people, different races, different tastes, and, rank it across X amount and be like, all right, out of 10 blind testings, this got this votes. And, and do it like a real, it's the only thing that makes sense, like a real testing.
I like that. Let the people know the Instagram and however else they can find Dom and Vinnie's.
We're at Dom and Vinnie's Yonkers on Instagram, and my Instagram is at Daniel_Calabrese_. And then come check us out.
Nice. Thank you very much for the conversation, man. This was great. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Peace and love.